At this point, I've run a lot of businesses, probably 10, 12 businesses. I've done everything from selling candy, photography, programming, app development, selling sex swings, woodworking. I've done a lot of things. And all of my businesses struggle. And I think this is because I fell into the trap that everyone else does. Society teaches you that if you just learn a good skill or you have a great product or a great service, that riches will just find you. I see this in all of the guru books. They're like, have a great idea and make a prototype and go out and do some test marketing. And I just watched this video the other day with Ali Abdaal, and it was talking about, I think that the idea was cinnamon toothpaste or something like that. And the guy was like, okay, so you make a simple prototype and you go out and you test it. And you ask 100 people to buy it and you see what happens. And I thought this is kind of an interesting idea because it takes into the assumption that you have the ability to sell an item. If I took this toothpaste and went to 100 people, I might sell 0. Now, my wife's cousin, who's very charismatic and great salesperson and everything else, he could be like, it's a $3 item and convince 15, 20 people to buy it just to try it. So does that mean that for him, cinnamon toothpaste is a great idea, and for me, it's not a great idea? It's the same idea. So this is the problem. We fall into this trap that we just think field of dreams type thing. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And I've done this. So most recently at the beginning of this year, I needed a couple apps for myself, for my wife, for helping us with content development. And okay, I know a little bit about programming, but I went out and I taught myself app development. I said, you know what? If I'm going to build this myself, I'm going to use it myself, I am going to sell it. And I'm going to try to make some money. And I taught myself programming. I built the apps function, and I have $0. And I go into Reddit, and they have micro SaaS, like people for indie developers that just develop small apps. And every day there's 4 or 5 or 6 posts of people who built a great product and have 0 or 1 customers. Like, and they don't understand why. They're all, but I built a great product. And I know I built a great product. What people don't teach you is that selling is everything. Literally everything. I know there are people that have shitty products, way worse apps than mine, and they outsell me every day because they sell. I don't sell. I might think posting online, hey, I wrote an app on a Facebook is going to miraculously get it in front of everybody. It doesn't work that way. When I did a photography business, I thought I put an ad in the Yellow Pages back in the day. Didn't work. I've paid for advertising for a mortgage company. I just put an ad in a booklet and thought, hey, it would work. In all of these cases, I didn't realize that it's about selling, and the selling has to start with me. Even if I were to hire an ad agency, I have to communicate to that ad agency what it is I want. I have to communicate it to my team. What do I want to do? What's the vision? What's the purpose? I can't communicate these ideas. And to go with this, there's 2 parts. There is the actual selling and the sales. and there's the first impression. And when I sold at one point, I had a platform way back in the day for real estate websites. So this was like new technology at the time. And I actually sold really well when I had a meeting. Not that I was a great salesman, but I talked like a tech idiot and completely overwhelmed all the clients with big words, and they had no idea what I was talking about, but they assumed that I did because I used big words, and so I would sell. But the problem was I couldn't even get meetings. I would try and couldn't get meetings because I was failing at the first part, the first impression. When you walk into a real estate office and you look like a bum, how do you get to the part where they take you seriously enough to schedule a meeting? So a lot of my sales thing here is going to be focused on the first impression, and then the second part is the actual communicating, talking like what we're doing right now. So I was going to mention a few studies that I had found that were very interesting. There was one study that they showed people an image of someone for 0.2 seconds. And then they asked them to evaluate what they thought their personality was like. And then they gave them a longer time to study the image, or a different group of people, and they asked them to evaluate it. And they came up with the same personality traits. Like your brain literally in 0.2 seconds can come to the same decision it's going to come in thinking about looking at someone for a minute or two. It's instant. And this makes sense because in nature, if you're out in the woods and something jumps out, you have to make extremely split-second decisions for survival. This is like primal stuff. You have to decide so fast, is this safe or not safe? Do I trust this or not trust this? Everything is about deciding fast for survival. So when you see an image, within 0.2 seconds, you make a decision on what you think of that person. So then there was this other study where they showed people an image of a professor, and then they had them fill out the year-end review for that professor, rating what they thought of their personality and all of these different traits. And then they compared that to the students who actually took the professor's class and rated all of the traits. And what they found out is they came out the same. And you're like, how did they know their personality if they didn't even take the class? That just doesn't line up. So what's happening is you make a decision. I walk in, I look like this. I'm going to go buy a house. I walk into a mansion and I look like this. And the realtor sees me and they make a decision instantly that I'm poor. And what happens is then the whole time we're communicating, they are subconsciously or consciously looking for reasons to justify that opinion. They look for things about what I've said or where I do that to indicate that I am really poor, what they thought. They will stick with that, and they will, you could talk about driving your Ferrari and they might not even hear that because that's not in what they're searching for. They are searching for the poor stuff. They are not searching for the indicators of wealth, such as I own a business. They're only searching for the indicators to confirm what they already believe. And so in the end, you've done all this stuff. Like when the people are sitting in the class, they've done nothing but confirm the personality traits that they were looking for in the first place. So what this means is if you take these two and you put them together, the 0.2 seconds and the confirming your personality. If you see a person for 0.2 seconds, your subconscious mind will make a determination of what you think of their personality. And you will still believe that, potentially months down the road, even when you get to know the person. You will have just confirmed what you already believed. So what this says, it's 100% all about the first impression. Everything comes down to first impression. It's very hard to change the impressions and everything else. So I know that people are like, but I'm a great person. I have beauty on the inside. Society has lied to us. They want us to feel comfortable in who you are. Just be yourself and feel comfortable. Okay, I am a happy person. But I know that my presentation is not great. I know that when I walk into a sales pitch or a meeting or encounter somebody, they judge me in 0.2 seconds. Now, I might not think that's fair. I can try my best to change the way I think about people, but I can't change the way people think about me. That's hardwired in. Every single person judges every single person instantly. Now, this is separate from where I talked about before about fear. They won't remember you either. For the most part. Nobody's going to scroll across this, see me, and then remember it in 6 months. You guys will all forget me. But if I'm going into something like a job interview or I'm meeting someone that I'm going to work with, or a sales pitch where I'm going to see them and I'm going to have a conversation with them for a period of time, they make a judgment instantly and then they try to confirm it. So that's my belief now. I am working on this. I have a structure I am working on. Like, I notice, like today it's bright. I'm trying to wear sunglasses because I know that I squint too much and this muscle's tight and it makes me look angry. So I'm working on all of these things to try to change the first impression. And I believe that changing the first impression will have a domino effect down all aspects of my business. If I look better in a video, people are more likely to stop scrolling. If I look better when I walk into a meeting for a real estate office, I'm more likely to get the meeting. If I ask a question in a store where there's, I don't know, a Ferrari dealership. If I look like a bum when I go to a Ferrari dealership and I ask them about the horsepower in a particular model of car, I'm going to get blown off. But if I went there and I was thin and I had a suit on and I had a big watch on, I'll get all the answers I want. They'll be falling all over themselves to help me. It has nothing to do with what money I actually have, but that first impression matters. So, we are going to continue working on that first impression. And if you want to see how it progresses, follow this. Like that subscribe button, right? Wherever that's at. Hit it. Out.